Yo, what's going on YouTube? Today we're back with another video and I'm going to be showing you exactly how you can set up 10 plus Instagram accounts, whether you're running your own outbound agency or you're trying to set up an outreach acquisition system for your own agency, right? So I'm going to be showing you exactly step by step how you can create 10 plus Instagram accounts without getting banned to start outreach as soon as possible and get a return on investment for your clients or for your own business ASAP. And the reason why outbound is so important and why it's so possible in the first place is because this is the exact SMMA style business model that I use to take one client to 12K in literally 2 weeks, another client to 15K in 3 weeks, and another client he got two calls booked when we first started working, but now he has like 8 clients right now, I think, and he's booking around 5 to 10 calls every single day. And the reason why outreach is also so important is because the amount of volume that you can actually take it to, and it's also a system that's easily set up and it can run literally every single day. The problem with other things like maybe paid ads is unless you're spending hundreds and hundreds of dollars to test ads every single week, so you can constantly have new ads running every single week to bring you in clients, or you're hiring a VA to do outreach, maybe at $300 to $500 a month, it's just not leverageable, right? You're going to have to go through the process of trying to coach that VA. You're going to have to go through the process of trying to set up your ad accounts. You're going to have to figure out how to run different campaigns. You're going to have to learn how to test and script out different ad creators. It's just a painful sequence. So if you don't have DM set up in your place of client acquisition, then what are you doing? And if you're setting up your own appointment setting agency or outbound agency, and start booking more clients and start booking more calls for your clients and start making more money. And just to give you a little bit of an idea on how powerful DMs are, I'm going to give you an exact lowball estimate. I'm going to give you a lowball estimate on how many actual conversations and how many book calls you can get for your own business. Or if you're thinking about starting an outbound agency, I'm going to show you how quickly and how fast you can actually start getting results for your clients. You can set up 10 accounts that you can scale to maybe 50 DMs a day. Instagram has kind of a weird limit. Sometimes you can get past 50, but the idea is to keep it between 50 and 75 and make sure you're doing at least 50, right? If we can at least send 50 DMs from 10 accounts every single week, we have around 5,000 DMs every single week. And using the exact setup process that I'm about to get into, you're going to have an extremely high open rate and you're going to be able to start 787 conversations. And taking a very low ball estimate, if you can at least get 20 to 15% of these people to book calls, you can get 95 calls out of 800 to 780 calls every single week. And if you can set this up for a client and your client already has a great closing system set up, then your client can easily close 15 to 20 out of those 95 calls, even if they're trash at sales, right? If we're absolutely throwing the numbers out of the way, your client can still book at least 3 to 5 closes every single week, which means they would be having 3 to 5 sales per week. And if you're working with a client that has a high ticket service, maybe of $2,000, and they can close 3 to 5 clients, they're easily making 10K a week. But a lot of the times you'll probably be working with clients that have lower ticket offers. Maybe you're working with a fitness coach that's maybe selling a program for $750 a month. If your client can close 5 of these a week, your client can literally make $3,700 a week, which is easily 10K a month. And then you would take a percentage of all that, since obviously you set up the acquisition system to actually get these results for your clients in the first place, right? So outreach is very powerful, right? You can't deny it. Just because you've done outreach in the past and it sucked doesn't mean that it can't work, right? Outreach can absolutely work when you set it up correctly. So I'm going to be showing you exactly how you can set up 10 plus Instagram accounts without getting banned. The warm-up process will be very, very quick, and you can scale it to how you want. So first thing, we're going to get right into it. How do you actually set up these accounts? The first step is actually account acquisition, and then we're going to go over all the other steps. This is probably going to sound like a whole lot, but trust me, it's going to work. And obviously, if you want to have a very, very fast process and actually getting the quickest return on investment possible for either your client and your business, then you're going to need to actually have a little bit of capital invested to actually set the system up. And the reason why I say that is because instead of creating new Instagram accounts, we're going to already be buying warmed up Instagram accounts that already have some followers on them, so we can have the easiest warm-up process possible. But essentially the idea is that you want to make clone accounts, obviously, for your clients. And what a clone account will look like is just basically, let's say this was my main account. Clone accounts will look like this one. They would also look like this one. And this is the type of accounts that we want to set up, because when we're actually creating duplicate accounts and clone accounts, instead of just creating these weird throwaway bot accounts, you're going to be increasing your conversion rate. You're going to be increasing your response rate, and life is going to be great, right? So that's why we actually want to go through the process of actually buying accounts that already have some type of engagement on it, some type of followers. And even if they don't, it's fine. We want to at least have some sort of aged account, so we can actually have a way quicker process in starting to scale that account and actually start creating odds around it, right? So using a very, very simple website, this account is called z2u.com. And the best way to do this is actually typing Z2U and then adding Instagram to the end of the sentence. And there you can just go in there right away, because for some reason if you try to look through Instagram accounts through the main website, you're just gonna take it's just gonna take forever, right? So here you go. You want to find Instagram accounts through here. You want to buy aged Instagram accounts, and these Instagram accounts really aren't that expensive, right? For this one, this account has 500 followers, and it's $2.5 USD per account. $2 per account. That's a pretty good price, right? Now, obviously, some accounts like this one has $19 per account, but this one has 10,000 followers on it, right? So obviously the accounts with more followers on it is going to be more expensive, but that's going to be even better if you actually want to set up a very quick warm-up process. If you have a lot of money to put in this, then you can really just go with accounts that already have a ton of followers on them. But if you're kind of on a budget and you want to keep it cheaper and you want to test it out before you try to scale it, then you really want to find accounts that have at least 100 or maybe even 0 followers, but you still want to find accounts that are email verified and that are also verified by phone number. But again, you want to find accounts that are at least a year old. For instance, if you can find 2016 to 2020 old Instagram accounts with email access, that is perfect. Or if you want to go even lower, be even safer, you can go to Instagram accounts that were created in 2011 and 2015, right? But essentially, the best bet is, again, you want to find accounts that are either email verified or phone number verified. Phone number verified will actually be better than email verified as well. So we're actually going to go with the one right here. This is about $3 per account. And if we wanted to set up 10 accounts, it's like $33. It's extremely, extremely cheap, right? And again, you want to make sure that you're reading this right here. You want to make sure that the email is accessible. You want to make sure that the account of followers, sometimes it might have followers on them, sometimes they might not, but it really doesn't matter. You just want to make sure that these accounts are old accounts. These are like already aged accounts. And you want to make sure that these accounts already and you want to make sure that these accounts have mail access so you can actually access them. If you can, also look for Instagram accounts again that are phone verified, because that will give you actually the safest process possible. And from here, you can literally buy Instagram accounts, and you can also search here to see also how fast these can be delivered. Some of these will take a few days to be delivered to you. Some of these are automatically delivered. So you really want to make sure you find a supplier that really just fits what you're looking for. And this is actually one way that you can go about getting aged Instagram accounts. Another way that you can get aged Instagram accounts is by going to this website. It's called Buy Accounts. It's called Bulk Accounts Buy. This one is more expensive, especially because you have to buy a minimum of 10 accounts. But this one is more easily set up, and I think this one, it also gives you warranty, and they also have really, really good support. You can reach out to somebody and they'll get back to you within a minute, and it's really, really good, right? But again, the same process will go. You would find the Instagram bar, and then you would put in account type, and again, you want to keep aged Instagram accounts only. You only want to be doing these two. If you want, you can also do these two as well. This is the more expensive route, obviously, but the more quality, the better. But if you're first starting out, don't risk anything. Only do this when you're already set up and you're already making some money within your business, and then you can invest that into there. But obviously, you want to keep this between 2 to 4 and 5 to 10 years. So again, we're just going to go between 2 to 4 because this is going to be the cheapest route. What is that noise? We're going to close this. So again, you want to go between 2 to 4 or between 5 to 10. And you also, when you press account type, you want to make sure that you're doing 10 plus, because I'm pretty sure if you try to go lower than that, you actually can't buy. Yeah. So you want to keep it above 10, and it'll tell you how expensive it is to get 10 accounts that are aged Instagram accounts between 2 to 4 years. By the way, these aren't going to be 100% verified that these will have followers on them, but that's okay. We don't really need that. So again, if you want 10 Instagram accounts that are aged between 2 to 4 years, then this will be $32. If you wanted 50, this would be $142. If you wanted 1,000, this would be you can't buy it. So this is essentially the second way that you can buy these. And the way that these will be delivered to you is through spreadsheet or through some type of CSV file. It will basically have every single row where basically it'll show the username, the login, the email login, and all that good stuff, right? And it might take a little bit for you to actually have these accounts delivered to you. You see this one says delivered between 12 to 24 hours. But essentially, once you actually have your account set up and you have your accounts bought, you have the list of the account sign in. You have the list of the account info to sign in. Now is the second step with the process, which is actually setting up the proxy service for these accounts right here, proxy setup. And this is the most important step in not getting banned, because if you try to have more than one Instagram account on one IP and you're doing outreach on them, Instagram is going to flag it instantly, and all your accounts are going to have a chain list of, all your accounts are going to be chain banned in one go, right? I accidentally made the mistake the other week, and I tried to connect all the accounts in the same account center, doom, all of my accounts got packed up. So you don't want to make that mistake, right? But obviously we have to restart. We got everything back set up now, and we're good, right? So I'm gonna actually show you the best and cheapest way that you can set up proxies. It's really not that complicated of a process. I know you're probably brain fatigue from all the stuff that you have to do, but I promise you, all you have to do is set all this stuff up once and you'll be good forever. So the first step in the system is you actually want to have some type of multi-login browser. What a multi-login browser just basically allows you to have multiple instances of maybe Instagram accounts, YouTube accounts, or whatever, any type of social media accounts, and they're all separated in its own browser and they're all isolated from each other. And then from there you can put different proxy servers on there to completely isolate them from each other, and each browser will act like basically a new device, so you won't get flagged and you won't get banned by Instagram, right? You can use multi-login. They're $4 a month. This is the one that I use and it's pretty good. Or you can use other free ones like Go Login. And another one that I used was free was Incognition, but you really just want to find one that fits you. Incognition, I don't use this anymore, but Incognition, you can have a free you can have a free plan that allows you to have up to 10 accounts, which is really only how many that you really need, to be honest. You want to use some type of multi-login browser, and then once you have that set up, it maybe might be, and again, these will be between $19 to $100, but essentially you want to maybe just buy the solo one so you can have 100 browser profiles. And also they give you 5 GB of multi-login proxy traffic if you decide to buy proxies from this software, right? So, and obviously when you start to scale higher, then you can go with the team plan, or you can have a custom plan where you can have an infinite amount of profiles in it, right? So I'm just going to show you the Incognition one because this is probably going to be the most likely ones that you guys have. So this is what the setup will look like. I don't know if I should be leaking my proxy IP, but it's whatever. That proxy, I don't use that anymore. You can use that if you want. But now that you have a multi-login browser that you can actually store multiple different accounts from, now is when you can actually buy the proxies to actually set up and actually have a proxy for each individual Instagram account. And now you want to go over back to how many accounts, and you want to figure out how many accounts that you actually bought. If you bought 10 accounts, then you're going to need 10 different proxies. You want to go over to this website. It's called proxysale.com, and this will allow you to actually buy proxies at the cheapest rate possible and also very quickly, right? And from here, I'm gonna show you exactly how you can set this up. The proxy type that I go for usually would be either IPv or resident. And the resident one, which basically just means it's going to be an IP address that's matched to an actual address. So it's going to be like that IP is actually connected to maybe a house Wi-Fi or maybe some type of internet service provider Wi-Fi. And this is probably the safest route that you can go with, but obviously it's going to be more expensive. But with residential proxies, you'll probably never get banned, and you'll also probably never get restricted or paused on there, as proxies can be a little iffy. But either mobile or resident proxies is the best part that you want to go with, especially when you're doing outreach on Instagram. Because again, since Instagram is a mobile app, if you have a mobile proxy set up, then Instagram will be less likely to flag that IP because it is a mobile IP. And the next best thing that you can go with is actually IPv4. And this will basically be things like 4G Wi-Fi, 5G Wi-Fi, stuff like this. And then again, this is more similar to mobile as well. I never really saw any problems when I was running outreach using IPv4 proxies. So you can also use that as well. Also, you want to make sure that your country is actually set to whatever country that you're running outreach from, so there's no type of weird hiccups, right? And the last one that you can actually use, which is also the cheapest and also still relatively safe, is IPv6. And this is the cheapest option, and this is probably the most likely option that you'll go with. And you can have up to 15,000 different proxies for this, right? So again, you really want to buy proxies based on how many accounts that you actually have. For instance, if you have 10, then you only want to have 10 pieces right here, obviously, right? And for the rental period, you actually want to put this on 360 days so you can actually renew it every single year instead of maybe having to renew it every 7 days or every month or every half a year. But just put it on 360 days. It's going to save you the most time. And as you can see, to have 10 different proxies and rent them for a year, it's only $10. So this is extremely cheap. If you're setting up residential, I would just recommend going for pay as you go. These would be about $3 per GB. So you really just want to make sure that you're tracking everything. Or if you want things to be more simple, then you can just maybe set up 10 GB, and then from there you can actually buy a proxy. And if you're doing mobile, it would just be the same thing as setting up IPv6, and also setting up IPv4 will be the same thing as well. So obviously these are more expensive. If you wanted to have 10 pieces for IPv4 for about a year, then this would be $17 versus the other one. Oh, never mind. This would be $190, right? And for mobile, if you wanted 10 proxies and you wanted to run them for maybe about 360 days, then actually having 10 would be around $6,000, right? I know this probably seems like a lot of money, but just keep in mind that this is just fulfillment costs. This is just basically all the costs that would go into actually making the business run. Or if you're an agency, this would just be the cost of actually getting the client acquisition in. And to give you a good comparison, most people spend maybe about $100 per day on Facebook ads or Instagram ads or any type of ad service. And doing very simple math, if they're spending $100, they're spending over $36,000 per year on running Facebook ads. A lot of businesses obviously spend more. A lot of businesses spend hundreds of thousands of dollars a month on ads. Some businesses even spend millions of dollars on ads. But if you're doing it like this, you would literally be spending no more than $10,000 a year on proxies, unless you're going with a mobile or a resident proxy service. But just keep these different things in mind, that you are going to be taking a risk by spending this much, but the return on investment is going to be crazy. And actually, if you watch one of my other videos, I actually showed you step by step how you can actually get your first client and how your client can actually pay for all this stuff. So you don't have to pay anything up front. You can basically just sign a client and then they would pay for the fulfillment. If you didn't watch that, make sure you go check that out. I'm pretty sure it's this video right here. But anyways, to get back on point, that's exactly how you actually buy the proxies. That's everything you need to know about buying proxies and everything you need to know about choosing the best proxy. And when you actually buy a proxy, you want to enter target as Instagram, because this is obviously what we're going to be using for. And again, you can add the rent term, make sure you have the proxy count as 10. The authorization method, what you actually want to use is user plus pass. This basically just means the way that you would set up the proxies will be user and password instead of just the IP address, because again, it's just easier that way, and it's just more security. And then the payment method, obviously, the protocol you want to make sure it's HTTPS and not SOC S5. You can use either one. I haven't really done much research on SOC S5, but I always use HTTPS. And then that's basically just how you purchase them. And just like the Instagram accounts, these will come in the form of a CSV file. And then from there, you can literally just take all the information and you can put it into the anti-detect browsers. Now I'm going to actually show you how you can set up the proxies within your anti-detect browser / your multi-login browser, right? But essentially the idea you want to do is, if you're using Incognition, this is exactly how you set it up. You want to go to edit, and from edit it should open up pretty soon. For the browser profile name, I just maybe just like to put the username that I'm actually going to use for the Instagram name as right here, so obviously I can know which browser is for which Instagram account. You don't have to worry too much about grouping. For the operating system, this just depends on which device that you're using. This doesn't really matter. If you want to use a Windows operating system, then you can. But if you're on Mac, it doesn't matter. Linux is not advised. I wouldn't use this. I haven't tried using that. So do that at your own risk, right? So from here, you actually want to press add a proxy. And from your spreadsheet or from the CSV file that you got after you bought your proxies, then it will tell you all the information that you need right here in order to set up all your proxies. So just make sure you go down the list of information. Again, when you're putting the IP proxy, you want to make sure that you're putting in the IP, and then the port, it will be like a 5-digit number. And then you want to put in the proxy username and the proxy password, hence to why I said it's best to go with user plus pass. So it's just really, really simple. If you bought a residential proxy or a mobile proxy, then you want to make sure that you click rotating proxy. And what a rotating proxy is basically is every now and then it would basically just switch the IP. For instance, every 5 minutes it would switch the IP that it's using. And also, this is why I say if you bought a residential or mobile proxy, that's the safest route that you can go with, because some of them do come with rotating proxies, which is going to be very, very good for not getting detected by Instagram, right? And these will come with an API URL. That's a more advanced setup. But just basically figure out what the API is for this. I've never personally run rotating proxies, but if you're doing it like that, then you can figure out how to get the API URL for the proxy that you actually bought. And then that's all the information that you really need. You don't really need to mess with any of this. And then you want to actually press check proxy. Obviously, I don't have a proxy imported in here. So usually if you put in everything right, it will tell you that it's connected. And just like that, you will have the first Instagram account set up, right? And again, you want to do this exact same process for all the Instagram accounts that you bought. For instance, if you bought 10 Instagram accounts and you bought 10 proxies, then you would do this 10 times, obviously. And then from there, you can actually go ahead and start running it. And as of right now, if you don't know how to make clone accounts correctly, if you don't know how to set everything up, I actually have it in this video right here, and I also have it in this video right here. And I'll also make a video on the future going over specifically just clone accounts. So essentially, you want to just log in and just basically create your clone accounts. You want to optimize the page, do all the great stuff. And that is everything, right? And now in the last step, we actually have the warm-up process that we undergo to make sure that we're not getting flagged and we're not getting banned for our Instagram accounts. To warm up Instagram accounts, you really want to be careful and you really want to take your time with this. You want to warm up your process You want to warm up your accounts for about 7 to 14 days before you actually start sending outreach. I know you're probably looking at this and be like, oh, that's so long. I don't want to wait that long. I want to start right now. But you got to understand, you have to be patient. You have to be really, really patient. It's not 2018, 2020 Instagram anymore. You can't just make a new account and start sending DMs instantly. There's so many different measures that's set up in place. So you really just want to interact with all of your accounts first before you actually start sending outreach. And I already have another video that basically goes over how to optimize your profile, but I'll just read it to you over here again. Basically, just call it high quality profile image, clean brandable name. If you're working with clients, then you obviously want to have their pictures, and you also kind of want to have a brandable username that's also similar to their username. But if you're doing it yourself, then obviously high quality profile picture, clean brandable name, who you in the for the bio formula, who you help, the problem you solve, credibility, and then a call to action. And then an example basically be like, we help business coaches book 20 calls on a month. DM me calls to learn, right? It's that simple. And then for the link in your bio, make sure you put your Calendly, your Linktree, or your any type of website you have, just for credibility, right? And that's all you have to do. It doesn't have to be super complicated. And this is a client that I've worked with in the past. This is basically just what it looks like right here. And this is a very simple process that you can go through. And now here we go. After you actually have all this set up, you can start this on day 1. You don't really have to wait till day 3. But the first 7 days, when you actually put these accounts up, is you want to actually start doing gradual activity on the account to prevent the account from flagging you as a bot, right? And we really just want to simulate human activity before we start doing outreach. And the way that we do that is you want to follow 20 to 30 prospects per day. Obviously, you don't want to do all this at one time, but you want to spread it out throughout the day. I had a video on generating leads in my last video. So you basically want to just go down your lead list and you want to engage with these prospects before you actually start reaching out to them. You want to follow them, you want to engage, and you want to like on comment on 10 posts. I wouldn't say comment too much because Instagram has been being weird with commenting as well. So be very, very cautious when you're doing comments, but you really don't have to do that. You can just stick to following and commenting. Another thing that you can actually do is watch and react to stories. You can maybe react to 5 stories a day, or just watch them. You know, you don't have to do anything too crazy. And you also want to post 1 to 2 times per week. The way that I actually did it is I just made simple Twitter posts. Or if you're working with a client, you want to take the content that they already have on their main profiles and just basically put it on all of these accounts. You want to spread them out a bit, so obviously they're not in the exact same orientation, but you really just want to take the already existing content that the client has, or either the existing content that you have, and that's the type of post that you really want to be putting on these accounts. And with stories, you really don't have to put that many stories. You can maybe do 1 story a day, and it can just be a random poll, a random question, whatever. Even if you don't have any followers on the account, you can still do that. And by the first week after doing that for a week straight, we do all this for all of our clients, and you should be doing all this for your clients, and you should be doing this for yourself as well. But by day 7, Instagram has already recognized the account as active and legitimate, and if you already bought an aged account, then this process is 10 times easier, right? If you decide to create a new account for whatever reason, then you want to take this process even longer. You want to drag it out for 2 to 3 more weeks. And this is when you want to start sending 10 to 15 DMs per day. And you really want to make sure that you're doing this manually. And you want to kind of make copy and paste personalized DMs. And you also want to do engagement first. You want to like somebody's post or reply to somebody's story before you DM them. The reason why I say you want to do it manually yourself is because this will still create that authenticity within Instagram before you actually start using the automation tools that I mentioned before in my previous videos. But you actually want to start doing it manually. You want to start personalizing it, and you also want to start engaging first before you do it, so it can come off more natural for Instagram. And you don't want to start sending out 50 plus DMs in massive quantities instantly, right? You're going to get flagged and banned. And you also don't want to use the same message for every single person. That should be obvious, but you want to space these 10 to 15 DMs per day. You want to do maybe 5 DMs per hour, and then you can start scaling it over time. By week 2, you want to be sending between 20 to 30 DMs a day. By week 3, you want to be sending between 30 to 50, and by week 4 plus, after a month with proper engagement, after you did the right warm-up process possible, after a month is when you can start sending between 50 to 75 DMs comfortably every single day, right? And again, obviously, since we already used the aged Instagram account method, we don't have to take this entire month process. We can maybe get all this done within 2 weeks, and we can start scaling it up over time gradually like that. And now here's another thing that I really wanted you guys to focus on too. When you're actually making those posts for those accounts, so you can actually make these clone accounts correctly, because a part of making a clone account obviously is making an account that's set up the exact same way as your clients or your own main Instagram account. So you want to make sure that you actually have real engagement on there. So if you bought an active account, most likely the people that are already following that account before you set up and everything probably won't like your content. So here's the thing that you what you can do, which is a more, I guess, not that expensive, but this obviously does take some capital, is when you set up those posts, you want to start running paid engagement boosts for those posts. You can literally run $1 to $2 ads per day to generate an engagement to make the account look more active faster. You can especially do this if you did this entire process by creating new accounts. So just basically keep this in mind. You can use bots to bot these posts, but I personally wouldn't recommend it. But the idea is that you want to just create some engagement on these accounts. It doesn't have to be crazy. You can literally have one of your clients' accounts have 1,000 followers, another account can have 500, another account can have 300, another account can have 700. You don't have to have a bunch of accounts to make the account look legit, especially when you're running an outreach acquisition system for a client, or you're running DM acquisition yourself, right? So that's basically the entire full-fledged process of how you can actually go about setting up Instagram accounts for outreach, taking the most simplified, safest, cheapest, and also the quickest route possible. So as you sign that first client, you can actually start scaling for them as soon as possible. And if you're running this yourself, you can actually set this up for yourself as soon as possible. And this is something that you can run every single day. Also, again, if you need help on your outbound agency process and you're really trying to learn this business model, you want some tips, you want to connect with people that are doing the same thing as you, then I do have a free Discord that I just launched that I'm still trying to make sure I'm putting together. This is the first time I've ever actually created a Discord. So we already got some people in here as well. It's probably going to start picking up pretty soon. But if you want to basically connect with me when I want to connect with other people and learn more about this business model directly, then I do have a Discord where we're actually going to be teaching each other how we can actually get each other profitable in this business. You could meet some cool people in here, and I'll be helping people individually set this up for themselves. And it's just going to be great. Make sure you join that Discord, especially if you have any questions too. I'm going to be answering questions in there as well, and it's where you can connect with me and everybody else directly. And if you're some type of consultant business owner and you want to set up a system like this for yourself and you don't want to have to go through the hassle of doing all this, then DM me on Instagram and we can hop on a quick call and I can run you through this exact system and everything else and how I can set it up for you. And we can actually get that up and running for you, right? And again, outreach is so powerful outreach is so powerful because how quickly of a return on investment you can get when you're running outreach. Again, these are still some same, and again, these are our results for our past clients right here. This guy made 12K, 15K. This guy booked literally two clients his first week of running it. And just keep all these different things in mind. And this is a really, really powerful business model too. If you were looking for some about social media marketing business model in 2025, I think this is the best route you can take as well. And if you have any more questions based on this and you want me to make a specific video dedicated to a specific thing about this business, definitely let me know in the comments below and I can get everything up and running and I'll make a new video on it, right? Make sure you join the Discord link in bio. Make sure you follow me on Instagram. DM me if you want to work with me directly. And if you want these results like these for your own businesses, DM me, bro. It's that simple. So let's get it started. And I'll see you guys in the next video.